Hello, I'm Gautam Menon, Dean of the School of Social Work. I welcome you to the 2021 School of Social Work commencement ceremony. There are two bookended celebrations that I look forward to in my academic life. The first, when I welcome passionate, committed, idealistic minds during orientation. The second is this, a celebration of those very same special, competent, realistic professionals who signed on to a noble profession and to a justice oriented career. Through your hard work and with the support from your family and friends, faculty and staff and peers, you're crossing a threshold bearing the weight of wide open doors leading to a professional life full of promises to be fulfilled, challenges to be addressed, and countless blessings to be received. As Dean of the School of Social Work, and on behalf of my faculty and staff, I congratulate you on reaching this amazing milestone during a momentous time in the history of our nation. While I can state that nothing prepared us to meet the uprooting of our lives in 2020 through our exposure to a relentless and ruthless virus, I find much solace and gratitude in the character and resilience of my students, faculty, and staff who worked with focus in a sea of ambiguity. Purpose was redefined, and sacrifices for the greater good were endured. I cannot be more proud of all graduating today. You exemplify the ethos of a justice oriented profession that we call social work. You're graduating in a new era of opportunities and challenges as our nation is poised for historical change in dismantling oppression in all its myriad dehumanizing forms, woke starkly through the inequitable realities made bare through the pandemic. We are to blossom anew as one that protects the vulnerable, serves the needy, and is kind in all relationships and encounters. That new world awaits all of you to be at the forefront of leading change from a just, equitable, and respectful perspective that a Jesuit Catholic institution, Loyola University Chicago, has prepared for you. You will help rebuild the lives and the ecosystems needed for all souls, all, to thrive, one life at a time. That is your promise, and that will be your destiny. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." But hope is not a promise unfulfilled, a gift waiting for you to unwrap to find fulfillment. Hope is your lodestar. Like the early sojourners and explorers, hope is your North Star that serves as an inspiration, a model, a guide, a goal. You set your sights on your heartfelt hope and work tirelessly to realize it. You may have hope to dismantle racism, eliminate hunger, transform communities, eradicate diseases, support children and families, stop violence. Now you have the knowledge, values, and skills that you cultivated through your journey with us to step out of your comfort zone and innovate hope for all around you. As a professional social worker, we are called to serve, we are called to advocate, we are called to be competent, we are called to find meaning in ambiguity, we are called to be humble, we are called to be kind, we are called to be just, we are called to organize, we are called to fight, we are called to proactively hope. This is why we are social workers. This is why you train to be a social worker. This is why the School of Social Work at Loyola University Chicago exists, to bring out the best in us, to be the finest person for others. This, I believe you will be. Congratulations, class of 2021. Be blessed and go forth fearlessly and set the world on fire. Godspeed. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Mildred Joyner. Dr. Joyner is the president of the National Association of Social Workers and also serves as president of the North American region of the International Federation of Social Workers. Dr. Joyner will be offering a welcome to the profession for the class of social work 2021. Welcome, Dr. Joyner.
Thank you, Dean Menon, for that kind introduction. As president of the National Association of Social Workers, I bring greetings from the CEO, Dr. Angelo McLean, and from the NASW Board of Directors. If you are a member of NASW, I thank you. And if you are not, I do hope that you will join your professional association. If you become a member now as a student, you will receive the student rate for the next 2 years. It is indeed an honor and privilege to have this virtual opportunity to speak to the social work graduates today. As the national president of NASW with 55 chapters throughout the United States and its territories that represent over 110,000 social workers, we welcome the Loyola University Chicago social work class of 2021 to the social work profession. I thought about what comments would truly resonate with pre-recording streaming. Do you realize that social workers are essential? As advocates, how will you use your voice and take the necessary actions for those whose voices are rarely heard in our society? Can I convince you that social workers must lead the nation and bend the arc of justice towards liberation for all? Generally, at graduation, the chairs are filled with our loved ones. We come together as a student body and reflect on the times we were in class, worked on various projects, and shared stories about our lives. Last year, when the world shut down, no one thought that COVID would result in another virtual graduation. Yet, maybe being shuttered in all year due to COVID allowed us to see things that we would have never noticed if we were out and about. As social workers, we witness and are still witnessing that racial injustice is indeed a systemic problem. As social workers, we are unable to ignore the numerous injustices that occur each day. We witnessed as a nation the murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, and just recently, the murders in Georgia that killed 8 people and numerous members of our Asian community. And another random shooting of 10 people in Boulder, Colorado. Racial injustice and gun violence, yet Congress fails to pass the necessary legislation that protects all people. Why? Social workers, we also see the growing disparity with the rollout of the vaccine distribution, leaving brown and Black people not having equitable access to the coronavirus vaccine. As social workers, we witness food insecurities in our communities. We know the devastating destruction of communities due to tornadoes, hurricanes, and fires that occurred due to climate change. And we have witnessed the uptick of domestic terrorism in our nation. Today, social workers are our nation's hope. COVID revealed just how essential social workers are in our communities. Our profession will help to rebuild our nation, but with equity as the defining principle. As a social work graduate, you will use your knowledge, values, and skills and join the table of change. You will help to eradicate walls and build a longer table so that all voices are heard. You will problem solve and use science, research, the human environment, and our social connectiveness and build a nation that is indeed a beloved community, where people can succeed and flourish without worrying about being judged by the color of our skin, where people are elevated due to their ability to treat others with dignity and respect. We will advocate for policies and demand that Congress pass the necessary legislation that protects all people. You, as social workers, will lead the change that our nation and our globe must take in order to save our democracy. You will expose the human stain of racism and work to rid discrimination in every system where it exists. Social workers are the necessary change agents of our future. Today, as a graduate, you will also commit to uphold the Social Work Code of Ethics. I humbly request that you read the code in its entirety once a year. Practice that code. Never stray from it. Always remember why you came into social work. What is the change you wanted to seek? Because now is the time to go out and make that change. Welcome to the social work profession, class of 2021. I would like to now welcome back Dean Menon to introduce our student speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Joyner, for your remarks. I would now like to introduce our student speaker, Ebony Davis. Ebony is graduating with her MSW today. Welcome, Ebony.
It is a true honor to be given this platform to encourage, uplift, and inspire someone today. I always tell myself that if my words and presence here on earth can reach out and touch just one person, that is enough fruit for me to experience fulfillment and to keep going. I would like to share a portion of my story today for that very reason, to encourage, uplift, and inspire. Of course, while I was writing my speech, I felt as if I was being given the opportunity to reflect on what the last 2 years of graduate school have taught me. I also thought it felt nice to sit still for a moment to preserve where these 2 years have brought me. So here goes. It was the summer of 2019 when I packed my Nissan up to move to Chicago for graduate school and embark on what would be one of the most challenging yet rewarding experiences of my life. From that moment, I knew in the back of my mind that my quest to degree number 2 would be far from a breeze. However, I decided to go through with what I had been called to do because my assignment and mission was way bigger than me. Being a social worker has been a dream of mine since undergrad. I knew my passion for establishing community and being a support and service to people was what I was designed to do. Without the help of anyone during my move, I drove 8 hours each trip to Chicago and over 600 miles in one short week to adhere to one of my wildest dreams yet. And I considered the trips to still be worth the reward I have been blessed with. I wrote out affirmations that read, "You'll get through this, and you're going to have the time of your life," to keep me encouraged throughout the motions of my journey. As a new class of future social workers, we started off in person. The opportunities we were given to network, meet new people, establish a new support system, and make new friends was what the first semester was all about. Then, second semester came, and the journey shifted. In response to the COVID-19 global pandemic, all classes were moved to an online format, social gatherings ceased, campuses all around the world closed and shut down, and students who lived on campus We're faced with the sudden havoc of having to move from living on campus to living with their families, friends, and even strangers for some. I believe I may be speaking for everyone when I say that these last 2 years took us on a wave of emotions, responses, and reactions. The quest to obtain our degrees took us through high peaks and low valleys, but we all managed. Through hardship, we continued to show up for classes, we pressed on with completing our assignments and meeting deadlines, and we were persistent and devoted to the outcome of our sacrifices. One of the core teachings and experiences of being a social worker is that anything can happen at any moment. As a clinician in this profession, you have to get comfortable with plans that do not necessarily align with what you may have had in mind. As an old site supervisor of mine would say, you have to get used to discomfort and uncertainty while working in this profession. And our experiences throughout the program has been a great testament to what we have been told. Small lessons about uncertainty have been one of the things that has inspired me the most throughout my own journey. Uncertainty teaches us a lot about endurance. It is a principle that breeds discipline, practice, and obedience. It is also how God operates. When we are faced with the unknown, we are positioned to think more critically and make decisions more carefully throughout this season. Uncertainty has been my wake-up call to stop moving through life unprepared. Through this season, we were also forced to adjust. I hold my right hand up to God and am honest when I say online classes have never been for me. These uncertain times have been a test of strength and resilience, and we all have passed. So congratulations to you. Now it is time to take on the armor of strength and resilience we have been given to carry it into the next season, because the next season will again require adjustment. I like to celebrate as much as possible, but I have to be honest and realistic about what the next season for us all will entail. It'll be another season of uncertainty. There will be moments of discomfort. We will feel anxious and worry about what life will throw at us next. We may even question our purpose and what we have been designed to do. But it's what we do in response that matters the most. Graduating with a Master's of Social Work degree from Loyola University Chicago is a huge achievement, but I want us to know that there is also a seed that has been planted within us as we move forward with what we have next. We all have now been equipped with the power we have always needed to succeed, and it was during a moment when all senses of normalcy and comfort were stripped away and replaced with uncertainty. The tools and systems we needed to direct and carry our path have been restored through our decision to endure and take on sacrifices. We have made far more strides in our journeys than we could have imagined. And if our quest had went as planned, we probably would not be here sharing this moment and experience together. So again, congratulations. I urge us not to worry once we virtually walk across the stage today and showcase what we've accomplished, because our dreams always seem to work out in the end. As we say goodbye to Loyola and hello to something new, I challenge us to exhibit trust and faith in what we have found out and now know. That there is an opportunity to propel forward despite our very temporary circumstances. I want to encourage us all today to place our faith and beliefs in the process that has been orchestrated and tailored to us by reading Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And so it is. Congratulations, class of 2021. Thank you. I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Laura Burney Neeson. She's a social work professor, leader, researcher, and activist focused on innovation in public sector human service, equity work, human rights, and social justice issues. A professor and dean emeritus at Portland State University School of Social Work, Neeson's scholarly practice focuses on addiction science, policy, and practice as they relate to the evolution of addiction science, the future of the phenomenon, and how it impacts the practice of social work. Welcome, Dr. Neeson.
Thank you, Ebony. Good day to you all. esteemed members of the Loyola University administration, faculty, joyful students, and even more joyful families and friends, such a special and happy day. Congratulations. It's a great honor to be asked to join you on this special day. Social work has been one of the adventures of my life, and I know it will be for you as well. You are entering the profession at a time of profound change and upheaval in the world. Many in the futures world have begun to refer to this as post-normal times. The literal meaning implies that we're very much in a liminal space, the space between how it was and how it will be. The veil between what is possible and what is impossible is probably more thin than in any time in modern memory. And there will be a need for healing and restoration that may be unlike anything anyone alive has known. And you, as Walt Whitman said, will contribute a verse. I've been a social worker for 30 years, working primarily in addictions practice and policy innovation, as well as a social work professor. For part of my career, a dean of a school of social work. For the last 5 years, I've made a pivot, a pretty big pivot. I asked myself, what would happen if a social worker became a futurist? And then, even though no one had ever done that before, I decided to go for it. Why? Because I felt called to do it, every bit as much as when I decided to get my degrees in social work. I dedicated myself to the study of the future. And after 30 years in one career, threw myself into unfamiliar scholarship, practice, and unfamiliar spaces with people I did not know. I learned out loud with new and generous futures associates who were thrilled to have a social worker at the table. As well as my social work colleagues, they encouraged and inspired me. Future scholarship is an emerging transdisciplinary social science sitting at the intersection of complexity and chaos theory, anticipatory sociology, anthropology, and planning. But also present are artists, engineers, inventors, activists, and scientists of all kinds. The people involved in this work describe it as foresight practice. And they work together to intentionally explore and map the terrain of possibilities in every imaginable area. The future of social change, of government, of technology, the future of politics, of risk, of trust. And professions themselves are exploring the future too. What will doctors and nurses of the future do? How about lawyers and journalists of the future? It was powerful and transformational for me, and I knew it could energize my own profession in some new and exciting ways that were needed. I'm so grateful for that, and I knew I wanted to bring back what I had learned to social work. I think I was invited here today to tell you about that, so here's a glimpse. The future is open. It's not set, and that's really so good. We can still impact it. We still have time to make a difference, and we must. The future is actually a set of multiple possibilities. Things may get better or worse, stay the same, or transform. Futures practice suggests that we study all of these and then lean in hard to the futures we most want, that we harness our imaginations to envision what our logic can't always see. And then we can incorporate all that bigger learning into how we plan. In this way, we get to pre-experience different futures and use our imaginations together with the communities we ally with to decide which futures are the biggest threats to humanity and which are the most equity and justice centered. The future asks much of us. Most centrally, it asks us not to go to sleep, not to accept easy answers or the assurances of powerful people when we see with our own eyes how wrong things can be. It asks us to keep learning, to see our obligation and our opportunity to learn something new every day of our practice, both inside the profession and beyond it. And it needs us to protect that little flame of inspiration burning and to kindle it in one another. The future is not something we predict, but something we can both shape and prepare better for and anticipate more effectively. One need only realize how many times we see, feel, or hear someone say, yeah, we probably should have seen that coming, to know how really true that is. I heard recently that oppression is the social distribution of trauma, The future needs us to attend to and interrupt this. The future needs less dominance and more community, equity and mutuality, less whiteness and colonialism and more liberation, true democracy, new kinds of economies predicated on healing the planet, and more possibility, more humility. The future needs us to remember that play and imagination are as important as skill and ethics in our profession, and that too many systems that social workers work in will try to bureaucracy that spark right out of you. Do not let that happen. And here's one more thing, and it's not hyperbole. The future is really yours, and it's also everyone else's. The future is best when it's radically and even disruptively democratic. Graduating today, you'll likely work 30 to 40 years into the future. What will you see in the years ahead in your career and life? A carbon neutral economy made possible by a scientific discovery that will change the world? An AI-powered robotic best friend? A social worker on the team that makes it to Mars? A president who's a woman of color who leads deconstruction of the prison industrial complex? The truth is there are both new solutions and new problems in every innovation that's rapidly appearing in our world today. The future needs people who can sort this out effectively and quickly in community, skills and values that social workers have, that they can share and amplify. And the truth is that every social movement in the history of the world is an encyclopedia of innovation and vision about what the world could and should be. Who will decide what the future will bring? Learn, participate, reveal, invent, challenge. Use who you are and what you've learned in this program to truly co-create the future. Additionally, things are happening so quickly, our code of ethics may not keep up. There's frequent discussion in the futures world that what is happening so quickly that laws and public policy can't really keep pace. Can I marry my computer's operating system? Can I import my consciousness to the internet before I die? And if I do, what happens if someone deletes me? At what point does a neurotechnologically altered soldier actually become a weapon? As we gain the power to make ourselves genetically immune to cancer, how do we assure that such breakthroughs are available to all? So you may be a part of all of this too, literally crafting ethical frameworks for things that are so emergent we can barely imagine them. Just think about this. You may be, and likely will be, faced with social challenges that you never learned one single thing about in school in your lifetime. I had an excellent education, and yet this happened to me, and it happened to almost every single social worker I know. But if you keep yourself ready, you will be ready. And that was the real value of your education all along, to take these values and ideals with you into both familiar and unfamiliar places. You are about to embark on your own excellent adventure. The world and the future needs your passion, your anger, your skill, your smarts, and your hope. Your sense of humor is needed too, because I, for one, don't want a future where we aren't laughing a fair amount of the time. It needs your curiosity, your devotion to questions you want to find answers to, and your determination to seek justice. Futurists say the future we want doesn't just show up fully formed. We have to shape it. And right now we are living in particularly important times for this thinking. There has been destruction. And history suggests that after every other pandemic, something very important happens that advances humanity. So this is your opportunity. Shape the future, shape the systems and structures, reinvent the questions, and be aware to the rapidly changing and expanding ideas of what human behavior in the social environment really means. Shape the future of social work too, because while it can be so good and so important, it's also not done baking. Social work must evolve, account for, and expand to be fully power with, not power over. We still have so much more to do. And work beyond social work too. Invite yourself into unfamiliar places, a tech company, a public data policy session, a climate change debate about the future of energy, an ethics roundtable on CRISPR. Yes to all of these and so many more. Shape the future with joy and determination. Take care of yourself. Definitely find a buddy. I wish you the satisfaction of being part of a breakthrough of something you care deeply about. Even if it's messy and complicated and you arrive there exhausted, it will have been so worth it. If you get lost or lose track of this horizon, just remember these powerful questions. What does the future need from me? What makes me the best possible ancestor at this moment? And in the immortal words of Sting, send your love into the future. As I close this message, I'll end with a favorite quote that always brings me energy, because I want to believe that the future I am most hoping for is on its way to meet me as well. Arundhati Roy says, "Another world is not only possible, she's on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing." You are on a sacred path. The future is calling. I will meet you there. Thank you. And now I'd like to welcome back Dean Menon to share some final remarks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joyner, Dr. Nason, and Ebony, for your wonderful remarks. The class of 2021 will now be individually recognized for their achievements. Congratulations again to the class of 2021.
Thank you, Dean Menon. My name is Philip Hong, and I'm the director of the doctoral program in the School of Social Work. I'm honored to recognize the member of the class of 2021. I would like to present the candidates for the degree of Doctorate of Philosophy in Social Work. Johanna Engler Berry. Dr. Berry studied parenting capacity and meaning-making among survivors of intimate partner violence. Willie Walter Jackson, Jr. Dr. Jackson investigated the impact of art exposure via art-based scientific methods. Sudesh Jyoti Mukherjee. Dr. Mukherjee studied implications of the self-world relationship in Zen Buddhism for social work's person and environment perspective. Jang Ho Park. Dr. Park studied the effect of psychological self-sufficiency on economic self-sufficiency among low-income job seekers. Bidisha Sinha. Dr. Sinha studied the readiness of pediatricians to treat victims of child sex trafficking. Catherine Melinda Williams. Dr. Williams studied the patient's experience of psychoanalysis.
Hello, graduating students. My name is Priscilla Freire, and I am the director of the MSW programs. I am honored to recognize members of the class of 2021. Now, I would like to present the candidates for the degree of Masters in Social Work. Yasmin Abdelhamid. Molly Ray Adams. Maria Concepcion Adan. Jordan Robert Ader. Opemi Adetola Adetunchi. Sulihat Temitope Akinjay. Amelia Charlotte Al-Najjar. Omar Alba. Savannah Albanese. Diomari Aldridge. Esther Alejandro Rivera. Raid Mohsin Alufi. Maria Anagnastopoulos. Sara Andrade Angulo. Michelle Aponte Robles. Christina Arango. Anne Gretel Armstrong. Catherine Electra Athana Surelis Athas. Diana Azama. Ellie Charles Beller, Constantina Bizanis, Ashley Joystina Bishop, London Crystal Black, Jacqueline Borgen, Chelsea L. Boye, Erin Shea Brady, Emma Danielle Brandy, Leah Razel Brownstein, Sarah Ann Brennan, Margaret Leslie Brill, Jenna Brooks, Rachel Bryan, Yolanda Burgos Fournier, Jacques Busby, Anne Kane, Elizabeth Calderon, Siobhan Patricia Carey, Justine Noel Carson, Yvonne Janeth Castrillo Castellón, Kelsey Ann Jean Cavalieri, Anaí Chacón, Rena Sharon Christie, Emma E. Cohen, Caitlin Marie Clay, Riley Jessica Coleman, Sue Elizabeth Cook, Mackenzie Kramer, Riley Candace Dalton, Chelsea Caroline Duvall, Ebony Laree Davis, Karen Collins Dayhoff, Andrew Michael DeSantis, Mayra Diaz, Veronica Diaz, Kite Neoma Dykstra, Rachel Gail Dronoff, Adele Rose Dubanagel, Jennifer Enake, Angela Grace Endurer, Megan Farrell, Anna Elizabeth Fasuna, Samantha Feldman, Maria Alexandra Figueroa, Haley Jane Fisher, Isaac Samuel Fish, Carly Catherine Fisher, Jasmine Ford, Raysel Marie Antoinette Portugalesa, Josh Facaro, Elizabeth Franson, Anna T. Friedman, Kayla Lane Freeman, Marielle Kalau Gama, Naomi Marie Gargiulo, Nicole Marie Givens, Ana Elizabeth Gomez, Jomari Jocelyn Gomez Martin, Austin Rose Gorski, Kimberly Natasha Ratz, Cassandra Jean Greenwald, Diana Gutierrez, Chantel Yvonne Caprice Hampton, Lane Hardy, Skylar Hendricks, Devin Ray Hendrickson, Brianna Camille Hernandez, Megan Ann Hoke, Samuel Carl Hono, Sarah Taylor Honig, Christine M. Hugon Wyatt, Michael David Weezar, Bridget Mary Ayacino, Madeline Goldwyn Isaacs, Julie Joan Jensen, Ricky Danielle Jimenez, Lisa Suzanne Johnson, Lauren Anna Jones, Abraham Samu Joseph, Elizabeth Kate Joseph, Elizabeth Juarez, Miranda Marie Juarez, Jason Alexander Kainsites, Anam Kareem, Allison Rose Karpinski, Nicole Marie Karwatka, Kay Hill Kawasaki, Mackenzie Marie Kelly, Julia Larson Kelly, Nicolene Annie Kalamian, Jessica Marie Kalimes, Kaylin Brianna Knight, Aaron Kai Korpak, Emma Mary Wolf Kosilla, Sarah Kawakowski, Nicole Taylor Kubera, Veronica A. Kudina, Olivia Lapointe, Stacy Elise Later, Marissa Latini, Eric Ross Lees, Rachel Catherine Lindy. Jesus Lira. Anna Lisette Locklear. Amber Marie Lopez. Michelle Lopez. Rocio Lozano. Amanda Jo Lucas. Jessica Patria Lyons. Elizabeth Delgado M. Leticia Magaña. Andrea Tanisha McGee. Nicole Marie Malazarte. Lara Mangiulardi. Amy Elizabeth Markley. Fabiola Martinez. Chiara Carlene McGarry. Rebecca Monique Medina. Carly Meeks. Brian Jacob Michalowski. Isaiah Patrick Michelle. Madeline Ann Nikitka. Emily Grace Miller. Isaac Graham Miller. Carly Bell Mitchell. Stephanie Morales. Elizabeth Moreno. Emily Lorraine Nagy. Noel Mariah Natoli. Samantha Ann Neerman. Ryan Santiaguel Noche. Giovanna Novakovic. Heather Nyheim. Mackenzie Marie O'Connor. Mary Beth Morrissey O'Donnell. Caitlin Elizabeth O'Neill. Esmeralda Ocaña. Ashley Rosemary O. Jacqueline R. Holguín Oropesa. Juanita Ortiz de Salcido. Noeli Paredes Aguilera. Joyce Dayun Park. Angelica Parker. Asmin Pedraza. Vianey Oceli Peña Torres. Catherine Pendleton. Lucia Victoria Pérez. Gabriela Rose Pérez Laurent. Rebecca Herman. Amanda Danielle Pearson. Maggie Pucker. Michelle Puma. Cristal Esmeralda Quiñones, Angelica Marie Ray, Haley Rainwater, Maya Trinidad Ramírez, Rayel Hasim Razas, Rena Claire Rambillo, Keely Redding, Remy Marie Reich, Casey Garnett Rue, Shauna Mariah Riley, Guadalupe Yaneth Rosas Rico, Ilana Rosa, Andrea Celeste Sanson, Catherine Margaret Sanders, Tyra R. Shower, Marnie Brooke Schneider, Rebecca Rose Schroeder, Alexandra Bailey Schwartz, Rebecca Sabri, Nicholas Thomas Serro, Shannon Lynn Shahinian, Matthew Hunter Sharon, Ashley Brianne Shropshire, Bianca Sakafi, Marina Andrea Silva, Shrestha Singh, Elizabeth Jane Smith, Emmy Jean Smith, Ariana Guadalupe Solis, Emily Rachel Spector, Antonia Stamatukos, Amanda Kathleen Steinhoff, Stephanie Music Stone, Caroline McKay Sturgis, Rachel Catherine Sullivan, Anne Patricia Taricone, Laura Mary Tatkenhorst, Olivia Louise Taylor, Kelsey Paige Tevick, Patsy Tyang, Lauren K. Tomasek, Aranzanzu Torres, Natalie Lucia Marie Trujillo, Allison Marie Twait, Kylie Marie Vancouvering, Rebecca Gwen Vanderlut, Hope Elizabeth Vaughn, Shanetta Latrice Vaughn, Casey Ann Wallace, Kahania Webster, Brittany Renee West. Elena Mae White. Darius Lamont Whitehead. Cassie Christine Widmeyer. Finley Sarafa Williams. Caroline Corey Wilson. Eric Lamar Winslow Jr. Hannah Kim Wajkowski. Carolyn Marie Wisgala. Kimberly Michelle Socha.
Hello, I'm Jean Sokolek. I'm director of the Bachelor of Social Work program in the School of Social Work. I am delighted to be here today. I would now like to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Social Work. Lara Alkurdi. Shoshana Ariella Altman Schaefer. Cecilia Rose Anderson. Ryan Joseph Atherton, magna cum laude. Alejandra Baclovia Avalos, summa cum laude. Raquel Desiree Avalos Uring. Claire Atherton Bergman, summa cum laude. Madeline Grace Boggs, cum laude. Christian Joy Carter. Hannah Renee Dersham, cum laude. Claire Dunning. Helena Adar Ames. Kaylin M. Fleischer, cum laude. Sarah Marie Flynn, magna cum laude. Hannah E. Fuller, magna cum laude. Vanessa Garcia, cum laude. Karina Gonzalez, summa cum laude. Marciela Herrera Lopez. Jane A. Hoyt. M. A. Johnson, summa cum laude. Doha Zubar Kawaha, magna cum laude. Rebecca Elizabeth Lockman. Emily Lois Lamp, summa cum laude. Emily Ann Marinac, magna cum laude. Lamise Didion McDashi, cum laude. Teresa Louise Mooney, cum laude. Morgan Renee Morris. Maria Dimoskaitocek. Maureen Grace O'Connor, magna cum laude. Natalia Anna Panico, cum laude. Edith Reynaga, cum laude. Paige Ann Reynolds. Madeline Reed Schneider, magna cum laude. Nora Elizabeth Scott, magna cum laude. Komal B. Shaw. Phoebe Rachel Siegel Horn, summa cum laude. Marissa Lee Southern. Madison Susan Starr, cum laude. Maria P. Stavropoulos. Jenna Rose Swastek, magna cum laude. Liliana Christine Verna. Lindsay Williams. Michaela Witek.